What up, Grizz Nation, and welcome back to another Grizz 901. This is a winning edition. I know we're not used to this. I know we don't know what this feels like. It hasn't felt like this for a hot minute, but the Grizzlies win 110 to 108 tonight. It's going to be a little bit of a celebration, but we're also going to break down the game as we always do. Midway through the show, we'll hit on Grizz Trivia. And then we'll look ahead to the next game that is just kind of this weekend with the Detroit Pistons. And so I know that we had a guest planned, and no, Nate is not here. So you're welcome for that. But John Roser wanted to be here, sends his apologies. His power is completely out. He has no way to do the show. And so it was a last minute thing. And so I thought, who should I go get? Well, it's going to be a surprise for you. Well, looky who we have here. It is Rusty, and it is one of the two bucks. It is your friend, my friend. You see him on the Daily Grind, you see him on the 2 Bucks Sports Show. Rusty, how are you, man?
I'm good, man. It's nice to be able to talk about a Memphis Grizzlies win tonight. At some point, DG, I know we're going to end up yelling at each other and arguing a little bit. But right now, I think we can bask in the glory that is the Memphis Grizzlies win, man. I'm good. I got power here in East Memphis, and life is good.
I feel you. Yeah, life is good right now. We do have power. If for some odd reason, we could be without power any minute, especially what the storms are doing. But we don't have one of the 2 bucks doing our electricity, and so we can't guarantee we're going to stay on because we do have to deal with the MLGNW. But all in all, we're making do. But honestly, Rosa was a little pissed that he could not be here, and it is what it is. It was a point where we wanted him to be on the show, and it was one of the last games that he's probably going to be able to be on. But it was just like one of those things where, you know what, life happens. And so we pivot as they do on Friends. But what I will do, as we always do, as we start the show with the Grizzlies win over the Heat, I'm going to ask you off the top rope, Rusty, what do you think about the game?
First and foremost, I love Ja Morant being engaged, man. Like, you've been preaching all year long. I give you that. Like, one of the biggest things, and I mean, everybody has really, one of the biggest things that the Memphis Grizzlies needed was vintage Ja Morant. And we got that tonight. Him and Tyler Hero were shot for shot, back and forth, playmaking. And who better to end the game than Ja Morant? You know, it felt like all of the angst this week and the hype, Ja this and Ja that, as he once said earlier this week on Twitter, for him to come out and have the game he had tonight, 30 points, including the game winner, incredible vintage Ja Morant game tonight. So off the top, it's all about Ja Morant and letting Ja be Ja, I guess.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, if you look in the first half, I made a comment because it was a game where Ja plays the first half that he played, and what happened is he scored that 3-pointer. He did the little gun thing, whatever that is. I don't care, like whatever. I think what he's doing now is he's not doing like so much like both of them.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's doing like halfway
here,
yeah. So it's less like it seems like he's like completely into, I don't know, whatever. I think he changed. I think he adjusted a little bit. Either way, what he did in the first half is he made one 3-pointer, made that celebration. Social media blew up about it again because he's doing it. And then all of a sudden, crickets. He did nothing until that second half where he ends. A game where you called 12 and it had been a little busy. And honestly, the dial tone was bothering us a little bit because he wasn't picking up. But all in all, he ends up with a 30-piece chicken nugget. And so 11 of 22 overall in the night, went 3 of 7 from deep. And so Ja just looking like Ja completely. And then look at our guy, Wayno here dropping in a super chat. If you want to make sure you get on the show, I have tried my best to look through all the comments as we always do. But the best way to get on the show is I can guarantee, as Charles would say, guarantee that you can get on the show. Bueno says the world is not against 12. Ja Morant is against Ja Morant. Can't deny the talent, though. It is all between his ears. Rusty, your thoughts on Ja between the ears?
Oh man, that's a scary place. He needs to get off social media and stay off social media first and foremost. But Wayno's absolutely right. Like to a degree, like the world, maybe not, but Adam Silver and the NBA seem to certainly have an agenda when it comes to Ja Morant, when they haven't said anything about literally every other player doing the same celebration. But Ja is the only thing that slows Ja down, right? There was a stretch where we had shoulder soreness, and then was it hamstring soreness, and then a hamstring strain where we didn't see him for several games in a row. All of a sudden, for him to come back and be playing now, all I'm saying is Wayno's right. Ja's biggest flaw is between his ears. I mean, he's super athletic. Showed you what he can do tonight when it wasn't wasn't for him in the first half. Be able to come back in the second half and then ultimately hit the game winner. Talent is obviously there. Ja's just got to get right.
Yeah. So when I look at Ja, like, yes, it is between his ears, and it always has been. It's honestly the same thing for Jaren. You know, if he can learn to stay out of his own way in a sense, and not play low IQ basketball, like just the little things. It's not that he's a dumb guy. It's just not able to kind of stay out of his own way on the foul trouble. That's Jaren's issue. Ja is, if he is motivating himself and not worrying about what other people think, worrying about what refs might think, and he goes out and just says, I'm the best player on the court, and I will show you. The dude scores 27 points in the second half. That is the difference of good job, bad job, right? We got the with the angel on the shoulder in the first half. Like, it was a little boring, and the devil came out in the second half. But Wayno, thank you for that. Appreciate that. If you want to go ahead and send a super chat in, by all means, go ahead and drop down. I believe it's near the chat area. I don't know what it looks like, but yeah, go ahead and hit it. But we also have our guy Chicken Unicorn dropping 10 little plus memberships. So if you're here, make sure you can accept the memberships for sure. But let's go ahead and keep getting into the game as we always do. But you look at Jaren, we just talked about him, 13 points, 4 rebounds, an assist, 5 fouls, 5 of 11 from the court, 3 of 5 from deep. Is Jaren okay doing that kind of stat line to you?
I don't think Jaren's 100%. After watching what's been going on over the last few weeks, he's pushing a little bit, pressing a bit on defense. They were talking about it tonight. You see, like late in the game, he got a foul called when he went up against Davion Mitchell, and he threw his right arm out before coming through with the block. He didn't need to throw that right arm out. But if you watch him, like, I don't know that he's moving 100%. He doesn't quite have the same quickness, laterally especially. And to me, he looks like he's playing a step slow. And tonight he went down, retwisted that ankle a little bit, and it looked like for a minute he was just standing in the corner not moving. Van Gundy was calling it out, and Brian Anderson on the call. But he was able to recover and finish the game. Yeah. I think that's I'm fine with that stat line as long as we're getting more Ja Morant or more Desmond Bane, one of the big three, picking him up. But I'm not sure he's 100%. I'm not saying he's fully hurt, but I don't think he's 100% from that ankle turn a few weeks ago.
So what you're saying is you're giving him an excuse. I get it. I'm just here. I'm the one listening on one side thinking, what is Rusty saying?
Not an excuse. It's just an observation as a doctor of physical therapy that I'm not sure he's 100%.
Yeah, well, that was a physical therapy kind of a game for Jaren for sure. He needed all the therapy. I needed therapy after watching that. Zach Edey, 8 points overall, 13 rebounds, just 3 of 3 from the field. A quick hitter on Edey, and then the rest of these guys. We'll kind of roll through them a little bit. Just your quick thoughts on Zach Edey.
Getting better the more he plays. He struggled a bit tonight with some more athletic bigs, but he just continues to do things well. I wish he could have finished that lob that Ja threw him. It wasn't the best lob. It was a little high and outside, but it'd been fun to see him finish. But I think Edey is progressing a lot better over the course of the last week and a half.
Yeah, and your co-host over here in the chat.
I got the degree, man. I can go grab it right now.
Rusty, an actual doctor.
Yeah. Jealousy is unbecoming. Hey,
I'm not sure either. Drew. All right. Dez, 17 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists, 1 of 9 from deep, which is obviously an issue just overall. But he only had, it says he has 0 turnovers on the game. So at that point, is this a good enough Bane game on a consistent basis? You get this kind of a game, you can win. He's a winning player if you can produce that stat line.
I think so. He was really hot around the turn of the year, cooled off a little bit, but not turning the ball over, dribbling off his foot is a great start.
Yep. Well, all right. So I do want to get into that a little bit later on. I don't want to go there, but I have 2 questions I have to ask you, and they are from people that you know, and I'm not going to ask them yet. I want to wait for a little bit. But I do have something that we do have, Bane, that Nate wants me to ask you. We'll get into that because I do feel the same way. Curious how you feel on it. Okay. But we have a question in here from looks like J-Ro-G. DG, what's your excuse for Aldama? First of all, I did not realize I was the holder and owner of Santi Aldama Island. But what I will say is I do like Santi. I do think that he is Mr. Inconsistent, but that's why he comes off the bench personally. Whatever. He did play 30 minutes again tonight because he's European. And that's what the coach likes, is a good European to put in the game. Yep. But 9 points, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 3 of 7 from deep, -4 overall, 2 turnovers. Aldama for you, Wayno's #1 guy.
His favorite player of all time. Yeah, this is a hallmark Santi Aldama game. We've had 2 good games in a row. We couldn't make it 3. Mr. Inconsistency is going to come back down to earth at some point. Again, he did some things well tonight. He altered some passing lanes, got a couple of steals, but again, a hallmark Santi Aldama game.
And the thing is, yes, I think the biggest thing on him is it's not him, as he's not an issue to me personally. You just can't overpay. Unfortunately, Agreed. You might have to overpay Aldama, but you have to. He's a guy that can fit in and be your 8th best player on a really good team. Right now, he's probably your 5th or 6th in all honesty, especially with BC out. He is a guy that has to finish, or that will finish games for you. Doesn't have to finish games. He can play big minutes, but he doesn't have to play big minutes for you. I think he's a guy that fits in, and also I think he will fit into a type of system that Isolo wants to play. So he is very inconsistent. I will never disagree on that. I don't know if I own the island, though, but I appreciate J-Ro-G. Appreciate that.
If so, there's room for more because I'm on Santi Aldama. Again, I don't want to overpay him. If the market commands 15, 16 million, you wish him happy trails. But the problem is, DG, as I'm sure y'all have talked about, we've talked about, the summer is going to be interesting how we walk a financial tightrope. And signing Santi Aldama might be the acquisition we get this summer. He's going to fit this system. He's been better this year overall than he has other years. He's still inconsistent for sure. Defensively, he can be an absolute liability. But he can go on a heater and get you some play from deep, some threes, and is a great rebounding threat at 7 foot. So I don't hate the idea of Santi Aldama being a big minute getter in this playoff rotation, but just know you're going to get some down games like tonight.
Yeah, D'Angelo's saying $9 million, no more. Drew's saying here 15 to 16 million isn't that much more anyway. What's a number that, and I hate watching guys' pockets. I'm not trying to say, hey, it's just because there's a cap, okay? There's not unlimited amount of money. It's like your parents gave you $100 and you got to stretch it out for the week. So you got to pick and choose. All right, so we're going to pick and choose a little bit of what he gets paid. What's the number to you that says, hey, I'm okay with this number? I'd be willing to wiggle one way or the other, but overall, this is a good number for me.
Yeah, 9 million's been thrown out. I think he's going to be like the 10 to 12 range. Emphasis on the 10 would probably be where I'd like to be. But somewhere in that range, I agree with D'Angelo here. If you can get better at 15 million, but for me, that I'll say 10 to 11 is where I'd like to be.
Wow. Okay. Drew says 3 years, 45 million. So right around the area, but it's a little high for you personally.
15 million. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think the Brandon Clark contract is right where we want to be at, right? Is 12.5. I think that's fine. I could be talked into 15. I could be talked into 15. I could be very happy if he only gets like 9 or 10. But either way.
Yeah, 15. I mean, 15 is not out of the realm of possibilities for me. I feel more comfortable at 10 to 12 just because I've seen the inconsistency. But he's going to command closer to $15 million from, because there was a lot of interest in him earlier in the year. I think he's going to command closer to 15 for sure.
I agree. All right, last guy I want to talk on and kind of just be done with it a little bit. But Scottie Pippen Jr., 17 points, 1 rebound, 7 assists. Pippen looked really good and gave the Grizzlies a lot of momentum when Ja wasn't able to. Pippen for you tonight?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm amongst friends here. GG, I count you as at least a moderate acquaintance. Friends here in the comments. I can admit when I was wrong, and I was all out on Scottie Pippen Jr. signing a full deal. Let's see what we got. Let's let it ride. We can sign him later in the year. By the way, we would have already signed him at this point.
Right.
But all he's done is just hoop. There was a stretch where I was dead, right, over the course of the early January where he was almost unplayable. And all he's done is completely do a 180. And Scottie Pippen Jr., I trust in our playoff rotation. Big minutes beside Ja, and when Ja's out, that three-point shot is working for him right now. I hate him, and Ja have the same issue where they run to the rim and jump without a plan. Then they try and figure it out. And too many turnovers under the basket from him. But, 17-7 from your backup point guard is all you can ask for sure.
Would you rather have Tyus or Scottie Pippen Jr.?
Scottie Pippen Jr. does a lot of things I think better than Tyus, and I love Tyus. I just think Pip is a cheaper Tyus. It's a great contract, and he's just like defensively, he's an absolute menace.
Yeah, and he did close the game tonight, as Drew said in the comments. Like, it's a chance that you can play him next to Ja because his defense is so good. He's not the tallest in the world. I'd love for the Grizzlies to go out and go get a backup point guard that might be somebody who they can take a chance on, right? And somebody who is boom or bust, somebody that's a deep second-round pick, in my opinion. And a guy, listen, I'll just throw it out there. Tyrese Proctor for the Duke Blue Devils. I know that, yes, he is a Duke. I've been watching for 3 years now. Yeah, shocker, right? But he's a guy that's 6'5", can shoot the ball really well, doesn't need to be a great passer because he's not an amazing passer. He's a guy who can get his shot. He's a good facilitator. He's a guy that can continue the pass, the movement of the offense, but he's a guy that can defend really well. And so a guy who can defend really well at 6'5", a guy who can shoot it really well, but also a guy who can handle the ball a lot. I really think that they should take a look at a guy like that. If it's not Proctor, that's fine. But a guy like that who has a chance to really boom if he really hits and he gets into his man body and kind of grows up and matures in his game. I really think that we can figure things out. And maybe cheap guy, he comes up and in 2 or 3 years he really can be a guy that's your backup for the future, a guy that can play alongside Ja if needed. But we're gonna get into a couple more questions because I haven't fought with you yet. We're 20 minutes into the show. We're gonna definitely get there. This is the part where I kind of re-tee up the show and let everybody know we're Grizz 901. I am Daniel, and that is Rusty. Normally Nate's here. He is off tonight, but he sent in a good backup. And unfortunately, we were supposed to have John Roser. He wasn't able to come here tonight due to the power being out due to the storms in the area. But do us a favor. Hit the like button if you're watching right now, wherever you are, whether it's a like button here on YouTube or the like button over on Twitter. But Rusty, I got to ask you. Ja hit the game winner tonight. We called 12. Finally, the Grizzlies got a win. Isolo wasn't aware that it was a American number. He'd been putting the 2 and the 1 in front of the numbers, and it was the phone wasn't working, right?
Sure.
Now it worked. But I have a question. He hit a nice jumper to end the game, a jumper, a midi, as they say, and the kids might say that the midi. Who did he hit it over? Because I was watching the game and I cannot remember, so I was curious.
Yeah,
Drew and I want to know who he hit it over.
Yeah, I will take a victory lap here. That I was exactly right about this guy when y'all gave me hell this summer about him. But Kel'el Ware from Miami, yes, Ja hit the game winner over him, but he was awesome for most parts of this game tonight. I will say that.
All right, so I will say I was big on Khalil Ware too. That's who I wanted. And so the fact that we're on the same side is not good. This is not a good start.
Well, trust me, we've got plenty we've got to fight about. But Khalil Ware was a guy that I wrote a draft piece about, like why we need to draft this guy. He's a 3-point threat, super athletic, questionable defensive motor at times, but just a freak athlete. And he showed that tonight. 13 points, 15 boards, 2 of 4 from 3. He's so good. And but John Morant hit the game winner over him. That's all that matters. As Josh said in the post game, there was a pigeon guarding me, and Khalil Ware took a stray from John Morant.
God, I love when it's Petty Ja, sign me up. Like I don't know what we have to do to piss him off, but I'm down to do it. I'll take one for the team. Done it before on accident, but I will do it knowingly what I'm getting myself into. But tonight we saw Bane, and this is from Nate wants to know because he's curious, and we've talked about this many times. But like I can see it two different ways, and that's why I want to kind of tee you up and ask you a little bit of why we continue to do this. So a few minutes to go in the game, I believe it was like the 3-minute mark. Somehow Ja got off ball from the very beginning. They threw it in right to Bane, and this consistently happens, and it happens more throughout the entire game, but also honestly the very, very end of the game where we really needed him. Ja goes off ball, never comes back to get the ball at any point. Bane runs a screen, gets the switch, and then goes straight in front of the rim and literally gets rejected. Why are we consistently doing this, and why are we doing it in the games?
That's a great question. Of the big three, like there's a wide gap between Ja and Jaren and my trust for Desmond taking the final shot. Des can get to the rim, but his little stubby arms are too like muscle bound. He can't quite finish it. It's like he kind of alligator arms at the front of the rim, and oftentimes it just hits and clinks off. And so, I mean, yeah, D'Angelo and I are on the same page. Like, I don't mean he hated by that, but he's too stubby, and I don't understand why he is the guy that we call on. When you've got John Morant, who's on a heater in the second half, you've got Jaren Jackson Jr., who is often the best player on the floor. I don't understand why we continue to think Desmond Bane is the guy that can be our closer. He dribbles it off his foot far too often. He's a great spot-up shooter. You know, he's a kick option. But 99 times out of 100, I am trusting Ja or Jaren that late in the game with the game on the line, because I believe it was we were down 1 at that point, or we were tied. It was close. Way too close for comfort for me to trust Desmond Bane carrying the ball to the rim.
Yeah. I don't understand why we keep doing that. I get, listen, I'll give the understanding that going off ball with Ja throughout the game is okay. Like, bring him actually back on a down screen, give it a different look. He has the ball. He's catching the ball moving now, which is a whole nother deal. Like from 0 to 100 is a different Ja. Catching the ball already going 25 to where he can get going down the lane faster and create a little bit more chaos is what should happen. So I'm okay going off ball and letting him come back to the ball. It doesn't need to happen, but I don't understand why we never go to him.
Yeah.
If there's 10 minutes to go in the game, I'm okay. I don't care. Anything under 4 minutes to go, it has to go to Ja every single time. I don't care how tired he is. If he's tired, call a timeout. At this point, it's just stupid, but
Agreed. I agree, because he's that guy that you trust down the stretch more than any of them. He needs to facilitate and or take every single shot that we take late. And to your point, when he's already going downhill, Ja is so athletic that as he gains speed, he gets lower to the ground, and he's so good at being able to get under guys to get around him or to get him hooked and get a foul call on occasion when he does get them. So I agree. Get Ja going downhill, find him at quarter speed, and watch for the highlight to follow.
All right. So let's get through a couple things. We've now seen 4 games out of Chuma Cicelo. Have you been impressed with him so far?
There's been a few things that I have liked, but impressed, no.
Wow.
Not enough to call him my coach for next year. I like a couple things that I like, right? I'll come off the bat. I like the other night against the Lakers, he takes Jaren out. They hit 3 buckets in a row. We make a couple misses. They're starting to like a little mini run, and he immediately puts Jaren back in. Foul trouble and all. It didn't matter. Taylor Jenkins would never, because it wasn't on his analytics sheet / Waffle House menu. Would never. I like that. I like that we've changed. Now, they're playing the same amount of minutes. I'm aware of that. But they're playing different minutes with the big three. No more are we taking John Jaren out and from what I've seen and leaving them out until there's a late run. We're down 12 with 4 minutes to go. And then we decide to put Ja back in. It feels like what we're playing our players are better minutes. We've also, DG, I'm going to take my apology because we did not play 11 players in the first quarter tonight. And we only ended up playing 8. And a friend of mine texted me and said, yeah, we played 8 tonight, but my father-in-law said 7 because Luke only took 2 shots. So 7, 8 guys. I'm impressed by that. But overall, the results are kind of meh. Like, again, their losses were playing better, but I still don't know that he's going to be the adult in the room.
Yeah, and that's where I stand. Okay, so I'm okay. One being wrong. I do apologize because I was wrong. And he did only go with 8 again. I was shocked because I thought big dumb idiot's going to come out here and put up 11 players again just because it's not the big names, right? We're going into Miami, not a big deal. I thought he would come out with more guys just overall. It is the end of the year, and so I don't want to say like, hey, he gets a pass. I still think if you go throughout the middle of the season, he's going to play 10 and 11. So let's punt this to next year. I think that I'll give him a pass. I get it. I still think that he is going to play a lot of people during the regular season, just random games, and it will cause a lot of issues, just like I've hated it all season when my guy – I'm the Jenkins Taylor Truth or whatever I'm called. I've hated it. Yeah, I've hated it. So, but I will say that his feel for the game has been much better, and so
much better.
I'll give you that because there is a lot of like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and if you're going to the bench and we start getting on a run, they will go back to they'll go back to Ja, Jaren, or Bane, getting back in the game. My only issue with this, and I don't want to completely just take a dump on Isolo. I think he's fine. I don't know if the players will play for him. He was there all season and they quit. What makes him moving down 2 seats make the players respect him? That's where I stand. Is I don't know if he can be the adult in the room. I don't know if he has the gravitas to go out and get some head assistants that will take this team to the next level. I don't know if that could happen. I think X's and O's, he might be okay. I just don't know if they can go and get enough coaches or whatever to be able to lend the ear of the players to Isolo.
I know we're not arguing as much as you would have hoped because I agree with a lot of that, except for I know the ink on your Taylor Jenkins tattoo is not quite dried yet, but like my guy is already leaps and bounds better than Taylor Jenkins from a decision in-game management standpoint. And he's coached 3-4 games. Where I do kind of agree is that like he's also a great X's and O's guy. Like Isolo's a great X's and O's guy. But we had a decent X's and O's guy. From a defensive standpoint, Taylor Jenkins was a pretty good X's and O's guy. I'll give you that as well. But we've had that. Like, I need somebody that's going to be able to get in Ja's face and say, I know you're tired. I know you don't want to play. Whatever. Get your butt out there. Tell, Santi Aldama, like Desmond Bain said, go fucking guard somebody. Like, I need a guy that's going to, like, snatch it. I don't need a Lionel Hollins or, like, that high school coach that was snatching girls by their ponytails. But I need somebody that's going to be tough and be accountable and hold these guys accountable. I don't know that that's Isolo. It certainly wasn't Taylor Jenkins. I'm just not sold on him being the next guy that's going to like the coach that gets us over the hump. Because we've had a developmental coach and he hit his ceiling pretty hard, probably a year or two ago. And we just kept him around, gave him a pass last year because of injuries. And then it got exposed when we were more healthy this year.
Yeah.
We don't need another guy that needs to develop. We need a guy that can win and win now.
Yeah. And I agree. And that's the bad part of it is I feel like this change. Not that I love Taylor Jenkins as the coach. I just thought one, the fact is that people like would just completely just crap on him for no reason, always blame him for no reason. That's the only reason I've ever defended. I'm like, hey, look at the players. John Morant doesn't play, and so that's where I was always at. The issue is now the Grizzlies, in a sense, are 2 years set back when you have to change your coach. unless they go get a proven head coach that has done this on the highest level. If they don't, there's so many questions around that. I am unsure of that. And I think that Zach Kleiman's tying himself to Isolo at this point. And I think he's going to be tied to him. So at that point, who knows what could happen? Whatever. We'll kind of move off of the coaching because I don't think it really matters in general. But Gigi Jackson has not resurfaced in a while. Is he missing? Do you know if he's actually around the team? Because I haven't seen him. So I was trying to make sure if we need to go check on him. He might be at a Smoothie King somewhere. I'm not exactly sure. But do you know where Gigi Jackson is?
No, I have not. And I noticed that tonight that I hadn't really seen him on the bench since being recalled from South Haven. I don't know. I know he's in the doghouse from a defensive effort standpoint. When Santi Aldama is a better defender than you and making better defensive plays than you need to reevaluate a lot of things. So maybe that's where he's at. Maybe he's at a retreat somewhere, getting his feelings figured out and whatnot. Or maybe Zach Kleiman's got him visiting cities on the tour of where you're going to be traded next year. I don't know, because it feels very much like he has been in the doghouse for quite a while, not even getting any minutes. And I thought that was one thing that would change after your boy got fired for sure. But we still haven't seen Gigi.
Yeah, I don't know. Kenny says he was on the bench tonight. I have not seen him.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah, and I thought you would have, since you do have your tattoo of Gigi on there.
I do love Gigi, man.
I figured that you would have some kind of knowledge of where he is. You're probably checking his Instaface or something, whatever it is called, and you would know where he is. So
yeah,
I just figured I'd ask.
Yeah. He's still a better basketball player when given minutes than your boy John Conchar, and I'll stand by that.
That is BS. We'll get on to that very, very soon. Let's go ahead and get into a little Grizz trivia. The Grizz King Meeks trivia tonight will be sponsored by Gibson's Donut, accordingly to King Meeks. And so
shout out King Meeks.
We'll make sure that we get some Gibsons. I better have them in the morning, is all I'll say. And if Duke does win the championship, you know what to do, King Meeks. You know you got to hand wash my truck. And yes, I will be live streaming that while everybody can watch you. But just please wear a shirt.
Yeah.
But this is Grizz 901. Make sure you go ahead and hit the like button. But all we're about to do is have a little fun with some Grizz trivia. All right. Well, I completely just smoked that thing, but here we go. Let's get into. I thought if I pushed the button, it wouldn't go. Well, I didn't do that last time. All right. With Grizz trivia. The Grizzlies ranked second in team rebound per game this season. Rusty, my question to you in the chat. I'm going to give you all a little bit of time tonight. Rusty, I can see your camera the whole time. If I see you Googling, I will cancel you, freeze, or your camera or something. But who are the three players that averaging 6+ rebounds per game? While you're thinking about that, we're going to take a quick commercial break.
For you to fire Tay Jinx at 9-game stuff, I think there was to see what you got in 2 months. The only problem with that is I don't know if you really could judge these last 9 games in the playoffs, because it's like that's not enough time, and you really gave him his first head coaching job in the thick of the season.
I feel like he should be the prohibitive favorite to be the coach of next year, and I just at this point would think it's a mistake, just because I want veteran teams and I want a veteran coach.
She is in like the worst possible situation for anyone to succeed in these last 8 games, where it's like, hey man, we're going to see what we got in 8 games where you are fighting for your life, literally, for playoff seeding, and you are also playing one of the hardest schedules the rest of the way.
Tune into the Daily Grind with your host, Luke Hatmaker, every Monday through Friday at 7:30 a.m. live on the Bluff City Media YouTube channel.
All right, Rusty, you're put on the spot now. We gave you a little bit of time. We're trying to do a commercial in between, one, to get the chat a chance, because Nate's been really hot with these, and so he likes to answer quick. But who are the 3 players averaging 6+ rebounds per game?
So my first one, the obvious one of your favorite players, you're one of your coach's least favorite players, the way he played him, would be one Zach Edey. The guy's basically a walking double-digit rebound when he actually gets minutes.
Okay, you got one right. Your Game Boy sound definitely hit right there. Zach Edey is correct.
Santi Aldama. Santi Aldama is another guy that's a walking rebound when you need him.
I heard nothing. Did you hear it?
Oh, no.
There it is.
There it is.
All right, I heard nothing that time. I was nervous.
I know that's right. I got to be. Come on.
All right. You have Edey and Santi.
My last one, my boy, he's been rebounded at a higher tick this year. He's coming off a 15-game rebound. I'm going to say Jaren Jackson Jr. has hit the six plus rebound mark. I thought for sure he was average 6 rebounds for the nerds and give him all this crap about not rebounding. Come on.
So Jaren does not have 6 rebounds per game. If I look at the numbers real quick, Jaren is 4th. He has 5.7. So you weren't far off.
I wasn't far off. It's got to be my boy Desmond Bane. I'm going to go Desmond Bane because he feels like he's at the right place at the right time, benefiting a lot of tap outs. Desmond Bane.
All right. Desmond Bane. Oh, my God. I forgot to add you on that time again. All right. So you got that correct. So Desmond Bane, 6 rebounds a game. Santi Aldama, 6.6. And Zach Edey, 7.7. So shout out to you. You did get one wrong. Let's just keep it crystal clear.
We'll be clear.
Lauren did get it right. I saw her first come in here. So, yes, that was the first person I did see to get it right. So, Lauren. Oh, Lauren with helping out old T-Rex arm.
Oh, T-Rex. I just saw that, man. That's incredible.
Drew wants the buzzer sound. I'll have to make sure I get getting that for sure.
We won't have a show because it'll just be the buzzer sound.
All right, so that's the show, or that's the Grizz Trivia for the night. And so D'Angelo's fighting. D'Angelo said it's him that was in first, but
I don't know. We're going to go to the judge. The judge says Lauren.
Yeah, sorry, D'Angelo. All right, let's get into a little bit of what's coming up next. And so I know a lot of people have been high on the Grizzlies, even though they lost the first 3 games. So I want to kind of go down the rabbit hole with you at this point, because the Grizzlies now have 5 games remaining, which the fact that they've had now 2 games over the last stretch on TNT, and we have another game coming up on TNT as well, which is that Timberwolves game, to which the Timberwolves did beat the Brooklyn Nets tonight. I don't know if you saw this. Anthony Edwards got hurt. He did come back in the game. I think he looked, I guess I assume he's okay at that point, unless he has another slip up with he shoots past the goalie again, if you know what I mean.
Hey-yo.
But Saturday against the Pistons, what are your thoughts?
That team is rolling. That's a good basketball team. Cade Cunningham is on the cusp of superstardom if he can stay healthy. I heard on the Ringer yesterday that Malik Beasley is having the 9th best three-point shooting season of all time with 290 makes on the season. And Verno says he could reach top 7 with a strong finish based on his averages over the next 2 weeks, which would put him in like Steph Curry territory, which is wild. But that team is super athletic. They've got another great developmental coach with Grizzly ties in JB Biggerstaff, who kind of takes teams up to the cusp before handing them off to a Kenny Atkinson to take them to the next step. But that's going to be a tough game in Detroit Saturday night. I'm not so sure I'm ready to chalk that up as a win.
All right, so if you look at that and it is a loss, you're going to grab your win against the Hornets, I would assume. Okay? So you're 1-1 over the next 5. How confident are you that the Grizzlies can beat the Timberwolves? Because I know we talked about it on the Daily Grind at one point. I shared that they have the tiebreaker this season. Unfortunately, they don't have the tiebreaker with the Clippers. And so how it works is if there's more than one team that's tied for the same thing, then it goes to whatever the next tiebreaker is, and the Grizzlies lose that one automatically. Okay, so whatever, I think it's record against conference play or whatever it is, whatever that tiebreaker is between 3 or more teams, they lose that. And that's why we saw them drop down to 8.
I believe it's your division. It's against your division, I think is what it is.
Okay. Then yes. So if whatever that next tiebreaker is, the Grizzlies obviously lose because they were just tied with the Clippers and the T-Wolves. And so at that point, you would slide down again, losing that because you lose a full game. But also the fact is you're setting yourself up for disaster at that point. So how confident are you in that they can actually take down the Timberwolves?
If it was anybody but the Timberwolves, I'd be more nervous than what I am.
Okay.
We've been playing better. Ja's been playing better. He owns Minnesota. Jaren usually sees red against Rudy Gobert. He must hate, France and French fries and all the things because he plays really well against Minnesota. So I'm confident we can get a win there.
Okay. All right. So you're good on that. All right.
I feel good. Let's say that.
In less than 24 hours, they have to make their way to across the country, Denver, the site of the last issue that we had, one of the major issues in this franchise history. How in the world do they even get up to play that game?
The only thing there that would help is at that point, Denver might be locked into the third spot and just resting guys would be our own. That or Westbrook will continue to shoot them out of games like he has done the last couple of nights because that guy has been struggling of late and catching hell for it in the media. So that if they're resting guys, yes. If not, woof.
Yeah, I agree. Wolf is the correct answer. So that's a Friday night. So if you look at this just overall, the Nuggets have the Warriors on Friday. So they get the Warriors on a back-to-back after playing the Lakers, and then they play the Nuggets, right? So that's two tough teams, which helps the Grizzlies. Okay. And this is beep, 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 the standings report. Shout out to Luke. Check him out in the morning on the Daily Grind. I always crack up when he does that.
That's good.
So the Warriors are going to take on the Nuggets at that point, right? And so the Nuggets somehow win that game that pushes down the Warriors. But then the rest of the way, they have the Pacers and the Kings, which should be 2 wins. I know the Pacers are tough, but I still think at home the Nuggets can get that win. Kings on the road, I still feel confident in that. All right, so that's fine. The last 2 games is the Grizzlies at home, and then they have the Rockets on the road the last game of the year.
Oh, wow.
The reason I share all that is because there's 2 games that they do have, right? And that is probably they could catch the Rockets or they could not on that last game. I think that will come down to whether they need to win it or not. But I really think that there could be do they need to play? How close everything is, I think they end up needing to play that game, unfortunately.
I think you're right. They're currently tied with the Lakers. The Lakers have the tiebreaker, so the Lakers are in 3rd. Nuggets are in 4th. But they're only 3 games back from the Rockets. And so that Rockets, depending on, because the Rockets have been so polar opposites, right? They were super cold for so long, and now they're 8-2 in their last 10. And so it kind of swings one way or the other. I didn't realize I said the Nuggets had last, so that Grizzlies game feels awful important to Denver, and I don't know that we can get a win in Denver.
Okay. Well, right now, kind of bring up to it's early in the second, 28-24. The Warriors are over the Lakers. Just kind of looking at the rest of it, the Timberwolves beat up on the Nets, as I said earlier, and then nobody else has really played on the Western Conference. But Art's got a question. If you guys have to guess which seed, which one do you see us finishing at? This is great because it goes into my next question. Appreciate that.
Yeah, given what we've seen so far, I know we've got a favorable record, but I feel like 7th in the play-in is probably where we're going to land.
Wow. All right. I don't. All right. So I don't think we end up 7th. I think we end up. I think it's 6th or 8th. I think 7th is the spot I don't think we could fall to personally, because so I think there's a way that we can be tied with the Clippers and the T-Wolves, which would put us down to the 8th. I also think that there's a chance we win those games that puts us into the 6th. I don't think we can get into the 5th. I do want to look and see what the Golden State's numbers look like because they play the Nuggets Rockets, Suns, Spurs, Trailblazers, Clippers. They end the season with the Clippers. That's a tough stretch.
It is.
So the reason I say that is because they are the team that's above you and they're tied with you, right? So they drop tonight and they drop Denver. Then really you win 2 games over the next, 5. And I still think that could potentially tie or jump over them with a 3rd win over the next 5 games. So very doable for the Grizzlies. I don't know how, but they can't win to save their lives except for tonight against I know the Heat were 6-game win streak, whatever, still.
Not the same caliber. I don't know that given what, like, you call it luck, call it whatever, I don't know that there's a way that we're going to finish any higher than 6th.
No.
And 6 to me feels like a stretch. I feel like this is a play-in team that's going to be in the play-in in some capacity, hopefully avoiding the Clippers. So that's exactly who you would play if you're the 7th seed, it feels like, because of the way the season shook out with Minnesota and the Clippers. That's one of the teams that makes a short list of teams I want no part of in the playoffs.
All right. Well, on that same vein, the Grizzlies end up in 7th or 8th, and they lose the first game, Rusty. So we're now playing against the winner of the 9-10. Rusty, would you rather lose that game and puts us into the 14th spot of the NBA draft, and you actually get your pick back? Or, Rusty, would you rather go ahead and win that game and take on those Oklahoma City Thunder?
DG, what round is that pick in again? Can you remind me?
First round.
Man, F that pick. I will let's go win, bro. I ain't about tanking. I ain't about none of that business. Go get a friggin' win. And you never know, right? SGA, I don't know, turns an ankle and doesn't play. Miracles happen, right? There's underdog stories for a reason. Give me more basketball. I hate losing worse than anything in this world. We don't need another first round pick. F that pick. Give me more basketball.
There is nothing in my life that I want to do is win the 8th place game and go take on the Oklahoma City Thunder. Screw the pick. I'm sorry. Screw the playoffs at that point. Put me out of my misery. Send me on my way and give me the pick. That's what I would rather have. I don't care about playing into the playoffs just to go potentially play the Thunder. Like at that point, I give whatever, put me out of my misery. Just give me my pick, because at that point, maybe we might trade it and say, hey, we're going to go all in. We're going to give you our first round pick. We're going to give you Santi Aldama. We might even give you John Conchar, who, listen, that puts it over the top, in all honesty. Like, you're talking about a guy that's a proven winner in this league. And so I would say go ahead and bon voyage their player and pick. You can have it. Give us a vet. But I think that'd be the smartest thing. If it was me, I'm not saying I would try to lose, but I would just hope down deep that they would lose, because I don't want to I want to be done with it.
You ain't going to try and lose, but you sure ain't going to try and win either. That's what I'm hearing. And DG, I ain't nothing but a winner, man. And I ain't trying to lose no basketball games that we're a part of. And you know what? What's the 14th pick? Santi and John Concha are going to net you, right? Like Kevin Love. I think that's what you're going to get.
Oh, come on.
I just don't see we don't need any more youth. I don't know that pick's going to translate into the vet that we could truly need, because I don't want another Jeff Green or somebody that comes in here, right? Like, if we're going to get something, let's step up, let's upgrade. And I don't know the 14th pick does that for me. So why not go shock the world? I don't know if you remember this or not. I don't know if you're quite as old as I am. I think you might be. But we once were the 8th seed and upset the number 1 seed, San Antonio Spurs, who were world beaters in their own right. Why can't history repeat itself?
Well, we have Charmin soft players on this team, unfortunately, Rusty. And so that might be the issue. There is no Zebo knocking on that door. And 50 for the city is not going to come home that day. So that's my issue with that. Let's go down one more question, because I have I'm just curious what your thoughts are. Is Edey long for this team, in your opinion?
Absolutely. I think Edie is going to be on this basketball team, especially if Isalo is your coach. He is going to be a center, pun intended, of this offense next year through his ability to set picks and move and be an offensive player. I am pro Zach Edey. This is year 7 of him playing organized basketball.
Who cares?
And there's still flashes and flares of some really good basketball that's in there. I think, I don't know if you're just jealous because he and I are so tall or what it is, but you don't agree with me and you don't like Zach Edey, and that makes you 0 for 2 in my opinion.
So I have a question then, because I don't understand the offensive game style that he has brought to this team. Like, I know everybody loves Zach Edey because he's the guy who's the biggest guy on the court. And he's honestly, you can actually see him on your TV because everybody's been watching on their 30-inch TVs. And I get it, but I have a 70-inch and I can see all the players. And so he's not the only one that I watch.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm curious about is the guy can't set a screen to save his life. And that's the issue, is he is not a good screener. And what does he want to do? He wants to go headhunt. What he does is headhunts and gets fouls. Like he isn't a good winning basketball player, in my opinion. And you can't have that. And he's not put in position. And even though Isalo is the Mr. Pick and Roll guy, he doesn't even run pick and rolls on this entire game. Like there's no schemes for pick and roll. I don't get it.
Zach Edey sets good picks, but I'll concede that he doesn't know what to do oftentimes after he has set the pick. He gets lost in space trying to figure out the pick and roll. I think he's got the pick part down pretty well. The roll part is where he's struggling. He's also a rookie, and what rookies come in polished and perfect and prepared, right? I don't even know that Cooper Flagg is going to do that next year, even with our 0.5% chance of us getting Cooper Flagg. Like, I still think that Zach Edey does enough winning basketball that he has a future on this team. And if you can't see it, you're watching with one eye is all I can tell you. Or your TV really is 30 inches.
Well, you talk about this 0.5% chance of getting our guy, Cooper Flagg, everybody's guy, the guy, Cooper Flagg. But Rusty, you've already said you want to win and go to the playoffs, so you don't get a first-round pick, Rusty. So don't even try to come back and try to grab your pick now. Okay, you can't have it anymore. It's done. I will be the guy who will be cheering for the pick, not you.
Sure. I got a question for you, DG.
All right, let's go.
You threw up King Meeks. He's not a good winner, right?
Yeah.
You can put that back up if you'd like. Can you name the top 2 rookies in plus minus this year in the NBA?
We know it's Edey is one of them, and I assume so. I don't think it is Wells. So is this? Hold on, because I know what's his face from the 76ers was, but I think that it rules him out because of
he hadn't played enough games.
Okay. How many games do you have to play? Does it matter? Is there a limit?
I think it's the same as for like postseason awards, if I'm not mistaken. I had to think about that for a second.
Okay. I don't think it's Wells. I don't think Wells plus minus looks is good enough. Is it Khalil Ware?
It is not. It is Jalen Wells at plus 151. And then in second place is Zach Edey at plus 114. He is tied with A.J. Mitchell from Oklahoma City at plus 114. So the plus minuses are there. He's averaging 7.5 rebounds per game. He gets fouls, but I'm okay with our bruiser and our enforcer being the guy that goes out there and hacks a few people, gets a few fouls. Because if I remember correctly, I think he's only fouled out one time in 77
Yeah, because he's
games.
not in late in the games because he's unplayable at that point.
He goes out and he gets some fouls. He is our enforcer. I am pro Zach Edey on this basketball team, and I hate that our tough guy has to be our rookie, but I've seen enough that he's one of us, and I'm here for it.
One of us. All right. Well, either way, I don't believe in Zach Edey. I think he is a issue for this team moving forward. We'll see this year. I don't want to be too hard on the guy. I just don't think he fits this team at all. Real quick, let's go one more minute, and then I have something to share with everybody. I don't know if nobody actually knows this, not even Nate. So I thought it'd be something we could share at the very end. this team going forward, whatever happens this year, it is what it is. But my thing, I'm curious what direction they go moving forward with this team. Do you hold on to the big three in your opinion? Like, are you set there? Those three need to be on your team. What is the next move for you if you had to make one? I'm not saying I need a player's name. What is the next move for this team? Because obviously they gotten rid of their coach, and then they potentially are, I don't know, they're auditioning for one at the moment with TI, but potentially looking in another direction. Who knows? Not worried about the coach because that's out of our, there's no way you can control that. They're going to do what they could do. But how do you set this team up for the future? And because I haven't had the chance to ask you, I want to ask, where do they go next?
So there is one of the big three that I would entertain trading. One.
Okay.
But I like the team that we have. And I know we've not been great, but I think the biggest thing that hurt Gigi this year is not our Bobby Hill looking head coach who was a knucklehead. He's a large part of it, but the fact that Gigi and Vince missed the vast majority of the beginning of the season, had to roll into the game, into the team midseason, find a role, try and figure it out with a head coach who was being petty with what he was doing with certain players. I don't know that they ever got their feet underneath them. And so for me, honestly, I think we need a veteran head coach who can unlock our big three, trust the development of what you have, and let this team roll. We don't have a ton of like this isn't 2K. We're not going to be able to turn your favorite player, John Conchar, into Kevin Durant or a Cam Johnson or somebody else. But I think that we roll out the team that we have, continue to let them grow. I think I was a bit early in championship window expectations. We're all we got. We're all we need here in Memphis. And I'm rolling with the team that we have.
Would you entertain going and getting a seasoned coach in the offseason?
I think we're goofy if we don't. I see the writing on the wall that this is Isolo's job. Like, I get that.
Yeah.
But I think you need to go and do an exhaustive head coach. If I'm Zach Kleiman, again, he's not on the hot seat by any means because we have probably the most detached owner in all of professional sports. I'm not sure Robert Parrish could pick Zach Kleiman out of a lineup if he was looking for him. But this hire should be attached to his job, and he needs to absolutely hit a home run. And I don't know that Isolo is that guy. But I think an exhaustive head coaching search this summer is an absolute must if we're serious about taking the next step.
How many years of head coaching experience? I know this is a random question, but like, is there like a years that you're like, hey, he needs to have this many years, like 5, 6, 7, whatever?
No, because there's some journeyman assistants that can step up. For me, I'm looking for a coach that has player or coach experience late in the playoffs, whether that's a conference finals or preferably an NBA finals, whether they played in one as a player or they've coached as one on a bench. I need a coach with championship experience.
See, that's like, I'm okay there, but like, I'm looking for a coach that's, just give me like 6, 7, 8 years. I need to have some kind. I need something that shows me that they have some kind of head coaching experience. There's a guy that's got like 6 years coaching experience that, a lot of people like. Honestly, I'd go out and get Taylor Jenkins. I'd go back and get him. I would tuck my tail and go back.
Good Lord. The ink is still not dry on that tattoo. You probably want to go re-sign Jake LaRavia too, I'm sure.
No doubt. Yeah, give me the great white hype.
No, man. Like, we've seen what happens with guys like TJ has 6, 7 years of experience as a developmental coach. We've had that. It's like, you never go back to the girl that dumped you, man. You can't fix her. She's unfixable. And
but
so you go get
cute.
She's got less hair than I do. Give me somebody with some legit experience at winning basketball, like playoff winning basketball and getting us over the hump, man. Like, I mean, Mike Brown is a great option that I would interview. Frank Vogel is a guy that I would also call. Talking about a journeyman assistant, Sam Cassell has been up for a lot of head coaching jobs. He didn't get it, but he's getting, and that may be a yellow flag, but I'd at least talk to him.
Yeah.
there are guys out there. I don't think we need to settle for the interim, as my my esteemed colleague on the $2 Sports Show will tell you. That does not work out in college football, and I don't know that it's going to work out in the NBA.
Well, you never know what's going to happen, but Art over in Brazil right now, hating that we need to stop thinking that basketball is an American sport. I get it completely. But listen,
I'm not worried about nationality. I'm worried about championship. If Dirk Nowitzki wants to come try his hand, like I'd interview him.
Yeah, and honestly, and no coach does guarantee just a championship. I agree. King Meeks thinks I want Mike D'Antoni. Listen, it could be the fastest.
Oh my God,
was it fastest offense? Whatever that was back in the day.
That was wild. You combine that with Isolo's system or whoever system it was, it's gonna be dirty.
Our guys will die, no doubt.
Our guys can play 16 minutes a night. If you try and play like Josh Hart, couldn't even keep up with that.
Yeah, I agree. All right, so we do have. I want to share this, and this is nothing like fancy or anything, but we do have a award. I was just sent this today. And so I want to share this. And Rusty, I'm going to throw you back on the screen so that I hadn't put you there. But FeedSpot sent me an email and it said the top Memphis Grizzlies podcast. And it gave me a nice little badge and everything. I really don't even know what FeedSpot is, to be very honest. But shout out to the people at FeedSpot. The reason is, and it broke down all the numbers, we're the highest ranked with so many people that listen, with so many different things. And so, I do appreciate it because listen, it's a lot of hard work doing the show just in general. I sometimes forget that people only listen to us on podcast, and that is true. Like I look at a lot of our numbers that isn't on the actual YouTube show, and I see it. So I thought I'd celebrate a little bit. The top Memphis Grizzlies podcast, which means it's there's others, and I saw the rankings, and I see everybody below us, and I felt good about it. But I thought we'd have a good time with it. But I figured we'd have Nate on here when we did it. But why not? But yeah, congratulations, Nate. Oh, congratulations, Nate.
Yeah. I'll tip my hat. This looks an awful lot like your handwriting in your burner account. So congratulations it's like the episode of The Office where Jim gets the employee of the month with the cake that says it could only be you. But no, for real, congratulations, sir. Y'all do a great bang up job here in post games and ruling the villagers that are here in the comments, and you and Nate do a great job. I'll say it's probably 70-30 Nate, but y'all do a good job around here.
No doubt. Yeah, somehow I was called a curmudgeon on the coaching company show I was on this morning, which I'm hosting tomorrow. Check it out, 9 a.m. Central. I'll be hosting the show tomorrow. I have no clue how it's going to go, but it will be off the rails. That's how I always try to get the shows as much as possible. But listen, I know you're doing the Daily Grind, and I know you're doing the $2 Sports Show Tuesday, Thursday, noon. I know you went live today with Kenny. Tomorrow, who is on the show in the morning?
That's a great question. Luke reached out, but I've got to go in. I've got a clinician that's out, so I have to go, unfortunately, do my day job in the morning. It's a bummer. There was talk about a Saturday Daily Grind, so y'all stay tuned. We'll see. There was one last Saturday. We had to break the news with Taylor Jenkins, and I was bleary-eyed from a red eye in, so you never know what you're going to get on the Daily Grind.
Yeah. Daily Grind. Sometimes I saw there wasn't one this morning, which, listen, I know jobs happen, things happen, and so you have to make adjustments. Very much is what we do as well. But it is what it is. But yeah, just make sure you go check out those shows. I am very disappointed with us tonight. Normally, we disagree a lot. I could not find things to really disagree on.
Zach Edey was it. I know, and I'll own that. I came in tonight, I was like, I guess maybe that's me being a little bit nice, or maybe you're coming around to my point of view, and for that, I will also congratulate you.
I have nothing to complain about. Like, they won, and there is no hot takes. Like, John Morant played good basketball. Like, that's really all you have to have. When John Morant plays good basketball, the team is good. Imagine that. But
and
whatever.
When Taylor Jenkins is not coach of said team, the team is good.
God. All right. We don't have enough time to get back into that. But that's all we have. Thanks again to Rusty for coming on the show and hanging out with us. This is your first time on the post-game show, so hopefully you enjoyed it. But the Grizzlies do win 110-108, and they've moved up in the standings now to 6th. And so depending on what happens with the game that happens tonight, they could move up into that 5th spot if for some reason the Warriors do lose. But we'll kind of make sure we're on all of that Tuesday night when the Grizzlies take on the Charlotte. They want to be the Bobcats, and they're the Hornets. Like they're disgusting. Of all the teams that suck, they suck the most right now. But we'll still be here, hopefully celebrating 3 games in a row wins. But we'll see. But Nate will definitely be back then. And then we'll kind of have the last 2 games and before we have that Sunday show. So we'll be here. So make sure you tune in. But we'll see you all next time. Be nice and tell your friends.